Hey everyone, Harry here to talk about the gag order violation hearing that occurred in Justice Merchan's courtroom before David Pecker took the stand again to recommence his testimony. All right, so recall there had been three initial alleged violations of the gag order, which prevent Trump from making especially inflammatory comments about potential witnesses, and it was expanded to include court personnel and family of the judge and DA. He then went into a torrent of additional violations, and by the time of the hearing this morning, after last week, the DA was saying there are 10 different violations out there. The most sort of virulent, vituperative ones have to do with Michael Cohen, who he's calling a serial perjurer and dirtying up in every way. And of course, Michael Cohen is a witness in this proceeding. So it seems, just down the middle violation of the gag order. And there are others of that stripe. Anyway, so at the hearing, the DA, Assistant District Attorney on this one, Chris Conroy, just marched through the 10, one after the other, and they laid them out there and said we're asking for the statutory maximum of $1,000 fine for each one. So, there's a little bit of a $1,000 moment, because that's really what the contempt, it's a criminal contempt statute in New York. That's what it calls for. And how is that possibly going to deter Trump from doing anything? You could run it into the hundreds of violations a day, and it wouldn't be significant. But the other possibility is up to 30 days in jail. Conroy said specifically, we are not seeking an incarceratory penalty. So it's just those $10,000 violations. And obviously this is to set the stage. Well, they want to try to cabin him, but also if he continues to violate the gag order, they got to go somewhere from there. And there's just not a lot of options under New York law. There's some suggestion that there's a special kind of contempt that is sort of inherent power of the court, who, by the way, is also totally savaged in a lot of Trump's tweets, including Trump's social media messages, including just today, where he again said that judges violating my First Amendment rights. Everyone can insult me. I can't fight back, and he should be recused from this trial. There are just not many things for him to do, and I think that in general, everybody in his position wants, and this is for across the board of the different Trump trials, you want to have several steps before you really have to get to the penultimate, where you say, next time, Mr. Trump, you're going in jail. Even if it's only in the holding cell in the back for 2 hours, that would be a major, major step. And they want to have as much room to try to disincentivize him all the way along. But as I've said repeatedly, if he is bound and determined to go to jail for this in some kind of martyrish way, it's going to be basically impossible for the system to prevent it. All right. His lawyer, Todd Blanche, got up there and first said, Trump knows very well what the gag order permits and doesn't permit, and then proceeded to advance a really spurious argument that said, first, Merchant asked him, you've been retweeting. He said, some of these are retweets. I mean, we know in defamation law, if you republish something, that's a defamation. So Merchan said, do you have any case, cite, or authority for that not being a violation or being different? Well, no, he didn't have any. And then he came forward with his central argument. The gag order doesn't prevent responses to political attacks. God knows what it would. Well, I guess it's just freestanding diatribes against witnesses would be the position. But if it's a political attack, well, that's the political sphere, and he can push back. Of course, that's exactly what the gag order doesn't say. It just says clear as day whether if they are witnesses in the case. And it really seemed far-fetched, and probably the most important words at the gag order hearing was when Merchan looked at Blanche and said, "You are losing all credibility with the court." That's, the kind of thing that should send chills down a lawyer's spine, and you hear it once and you want to do everything possible to recapture it. It's now Merchan said that he would take it under rule later, and he's going to take it under advisement. And I think everybody in the courtroom understands the stakes are more than these 10 purported violations and 10 possible fines, because we're talking about what happens down the line and how is he going to be curbed generally. Blanche, who is, it's so hard representing Trump, and it obviously had not gone well for him. I mean, that's just, you're losing all credibility with the court. I've never heard a judge say that to me, and I would be, totally on my game, and you do everything you can to try to retrieve it. He apparently was all jokey with Trump after somehow trying to maybe recapture Trump's confidence or reassure him it hadn't gotten so bad. Trump was portrayed as being basically pretty stoic in the hearing, with a few of his Trumpian, nods and glowers. So we'll hear soon. It may well be that Merchan will say this one and this one and this one violate, these don't. I'm not sure that it matters as long as there's at least one violation, because it's drawing the line for what happens if Trump crosses it again. But a real sort of slap in the face to Trump's lawyer in front of Trump, not the jury, but in front of Trump, and a ruling that he said he'd take under advisement will probably happen soon. And at that point, David Pecker, head of the former CEO of the National Enquirer, came back in to resume his testimony about the whole catch and kill scheme that was, by the DA's presentation, the sort of genesis of the entire chain of criminal conduct that includes the Stormy Daniels cover-up. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.